if you are a GCSE English student, there are 3 keywords that you need to know for every single literature essay that you write, regardless of the text that you study. So make sure you've got pen and paper, let's write them down. First keyword is motif. Now, motif is a key thing that reoccurs throughout. It helps develop the theme, and it might be a symbol or a concept or an image. So let's take good old famous Macbeth, for example. There are 3 key things that reoccur in Macbeth. You've got the witches, this idea of the supernatural, they are consistent. You've got blood, consistent all the way through. And then a third one that a lot of you probably don't think about are birds. 3 types of birds are mentioned in Macbeth. And the reason you can talk about motifs in Macbeth, but also in any other text like Romeo and Juliet, Frankenstein, even Lord of the Flies, is because there is always something that reoccurs and they always have a deeper meaning or message. So our second keyword that you need to know that you can mention for any literature text is symbolism. Now, symbolism is basically an object that represents maybe quite an abstract or a bigger idea, and that continues throughout the story. They typically derive from objects that are not human. So for example, let's go back to Macbeth. If you think about the raven, it talks about the raven at the beginning. A raven actually symbolizes a bad omen and death. So you could talk about the symbolism of the raven, for example, in Macbeth. It also occurs in other things like Frankenstein. You've got the symbolism of fire, or the symbolism of the door, or even the symbolism of lightning. Now, your analysis of these is obviously really, really important, so make sure that your analysis is absolutely key. Third keyword that I want you to write down is imagery. Now, imagery is something that is highly descriptive. It is used throughout all your literature texts, and it is essentially there to paint a picture so that you can kind of see the scene at hand. So if we think about, let's take Christmas Carol, for example. When you're reading A Christmas Carol, there's a beautiful introduction to Scrooge, and he is described in such detail that you could probably paint him if you wanted to. Now, if you can talk about these 3 key things in your literature essays, you are doing exactly what the exam board is looking for. They are looking not only for you to identify language or literary devices, AO2, but they are also looking for you to analyze them. These are easy, simple things that you can analyze in depth to gain a lot more marks in your exams. If you think there are any other words that really, really work that you can use across any literature text, or you've got a favorite literary device, go ahead and pop it in the comments.